Well, hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Rider Ramblings. That was well timed. Bit of a grey day, but a lot better than you have it in the UK, I'm told. I'm told the UK weather is pretty foul at the moment, according to the weatherman I was looking at yesterday. Anyhow, today I'm looking at getting a new camera for the helmet or the bike or something. Now, I have this this camera, which is a Sena 10C Pro or something. And, yeah, it's a 10C Pro. And it's not stabilized, as you've probably noticed. But it works well. It does what I want it to do most of the time. But, can't see out of that mirror. Just wait a minute. Does help. If I can actually see a bit better. Excuse me a moment. Right. Let's start again. I have a Sena 10C Pro that is getting a bit long in the tooth. Works very well, but it's not stabilized, as you've probably noticed. And it's also mounted to the side of this helmet. Now, this helmet is going to be retired permanently in about 2 or 3 months' time, as it's now over 7 years old. And I'm only using it in the city, where mainly we're sort of between, well, not usually much more than 30-35 miles an hour. And the polystyrene foam inside has compacted a little, so it's not fitting as well as it should. So I don't mind wearing it in the city where the speeds are low, but I don't really want to wear it anywhere where the speeds are high. I mean, for example, at the moment I'm doing about 32 miles an hour. No, sorry, less than that. 22 miles an hour. Right, so what are the criteria? Well, the first thing is that I have a showy Neotech 2, somebody trying to marry me behind. And it has the Sena SRL Sorry, I really do have an idiot behind. Not just a bit of an idiot, but a real idiot. I have a Sena Neotech 2, a Shoei Neotech 2, which has the Sena SRL system attached. And it won't take an external mount for a camera, so I can't mount this camera on it. That's the first thing. The second thing is I need much better stabilization, because I'm going to be taking video at higher speed out in the countryside, and the road surfaces in the countryside are not very flat, but they're much more interesting. And I've noticed when I try and do videos with this camera in the countryside, even I feel sick looking at the video replay. So I need much better stabilization. So that's the main thing, stabilization. Now, the problem I have, as I say, is I can't fit it to the side of the helmet. I don't want it on the top of the helmet, and I don't want to look like a Teletubby. And I actually do use the vents on the front of the helmet a lot, especially in the town. So I don't really want to mount it on the front of the helmet, where it will block vents. Now, I don't mind it being on the front of the helmet, provided it does not block vents. And that's an important thing. Now, the next thing is that it has to be reliable. And according to a lot of the reports that I'm getting about the GoPros, especially the later ones from 9, 10, 11, 12, is they overheat very quickly. Now, I'm going to be riding in temperatures up to and including 40 degrees in bright sunlight, and if I'm in a city or a town, it's going to be even hotter, especially when I'm stationary at traffic lights or junctions or whatever. And a camera that overheats is probably, and shuts itself down, is probably not something I want. So the GoPro is not looking good for that reason. Is simply, you know, it's not as reliable as it should be. Now, I understand the latest GoPros don't need to go into a house or a container or whatever, but and can be used out in the air. But as I say, when I'm stationary in high heat, I imagine they're going to shut down, especially if they're in direct sunlight, quite quickly. So that's a problem. The other thing is that I'm not actually that keen on GoPros. I know people use them, but I don't know. I'm just not keen on them. Right. The next thing, as I say, is the mounting, and I want it to be mounted so that I can take video of... Okay, traffic lights don't apply to him for some reason or other. Don't know why. Now, I don't mind if it's mounted to the motorbike, provided it's not a permanent mounting, and it's something I can move from bike to bike, and it doesn't mar the motorbike. As I say, I did actually have a dash cam type thing mounted to this motorbike, and you couldn't really see it, and it was permanently mounted. Unfortunately, it sort of lasted about 6 or 7 years before giving up the ghost, and you can't get this type of dash cam again, unfortunately. They're not made anymore, which is a bit of a pity, and the ones that are available, they're not stabilised, and so the image quality isn't very good, and I want a better image quality than most of the sort of dash cam type cameras that are on the market at the moment. Now, if there is a dash cam type that can be mounted to the bike unobtrusively, that is image stabilized and has good resolution and that type of thing, I would be interested in it. So I'm looking for comments, I'm looking for suggestions, I'm looking for advice, so please leave comments and suggestions below. Now, what I have seen, and I don't know if it's going to be suitable, are the Insta360 Go series. the 2 and the 3. I believe 3 is the latest one. Now, the battery life, I'm told, is about 45 minutes when it's in its sort of unboxed, unmounted mode, which for a lot of things might be okay, and if it's mounted in a thingy, a case or whatever, I believe the battery life is about 3 hours, sorry. Approximately, just under 3 hours. I don't know if you can actually attach an external charger to it to have it last longer or not. I don't know. So again, if you have knowledge of the Insta360 one, especially the Go series, I would be interested. The other problem is the actual 360s themselves, the 360 cameras themselves. Yes, I would think about it. I don't know if you can see it just there, I have mounting points on both the bikes, but the problem is on the bike that I'm going to be used for doing the countryside, I actually have a sat-nav on there to warn me about speed traps, policemen, what the actual speed is on that particular road, because it's quite difficult to find out sometimes what the actual speed you're supposed to be doing is. So really that point isn't usually available. I can put it elsewhere if necessary. I could mount a one on top of on the one I've got. There's a clutch fluid reservoir. I could mount a ram ball on there. So there are options, and I don't mind the ram balls too much, but I don't really want ram balls everywhere. I just want them unobtrusive, a bit like this one is. It's not that noticeable. So what I'm looking for are basically your comments, your knowledge, your advice. What would be best? I mean, we've talked about the GoPros and the Insta360s, but I'm sure there are lots and lots of other brands out there. As I say, the important part is image stabilization. It has to have good image stabilization. Simply because I'm going to be travelling at the national speed limit for the roads, and a lot of these roads are not very flat. Like, I mean, this one's a nice smooth road, even though there's the odd undulation in it. The country roads are definitely not smooth, not flat, and are, how can I put this, an interesting ride. So, all suggestions are welcome. Please like, share, comment and subscribe, and I'll speak to you next time.